Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. Well, it is summer, and it's hot, and it's humid, and I was down in the fish room this morning doing my morning prep, which is just feeding the fish and doing a little bit of maintenance, cleaning the fish room floor, and getting ready for whatever builds I need to do. There's a couple of things that I make for some clients, and another estimate I need to do for another one, and it wasn't too long into the process when I realized it is stifling down there. I pretty much broke out into a sweat the second I started doing any kind of work at all, and I soon got very tired of it. What I do is whenever I'm down there, I record footage like this here for whenever these sorts of things come up, either too hot to work down there or I get called out on a job and I don't have enough material to go through and make for you for a given video for like today. So this is actually quite appropriate because on days like today, I don't really want to do a whole lot of maintenance, so I just do the bare minimum. So the question is it possible to set up an aquarium that is zero maintenance, whereas you don't have to do anything? Now, obviously, it can't be zero because you do need to feed the fish, and unless you hermetically seal your aquarium, you will have to top up water. And if you want to actually see them, you may have to do a bit of glass cleaning. But beyond those basics, is it possible to set up an aquarium where you don't have to do any work on it? Now, I know I've had requests many times for zero water change aquariums, and I have set them up in the past. I think my longest running one without any water changes was just under a decade, just topping them up. But I don't really recommend that for people who haven't maintained aquariums for quite some time, because you do have pitfalls and things that you need to look for, and if you don't have the experience of what to see, what the fish are doing, if they're reacting to any kind of buildup of anything in the water, it can cause some serious die-off, and that's definitely a bad thing. Now, the reason why you're looking at this aquarium is because it is pretty much my least maintained aquarium in the entire fish room. I set this up I think about 2 years ago now, and the maintenance for this tank is quite simple. I lift that lid up and I drop some food in. I pulled the tray for all the plants out once and pruned it, and you can see it definitely needs it again. And then once or twice a month, I turn that elbow down that you see on the right with the plants growing out of it, and I drain down some water and I fill it up. That's all I do to this tank. And you can see the plants are growing really well. Definitely overcrowded in there. I'm probably due for another prune on this, but they're all healthy. And as you can see here now, the fish are active. I've actually pulled a bunch of these out and put them in the 7-foot tank for getting that going. And you should see they replace themselves quite easily. And that is all I do for this. But as I said in the beginning of this video, it's not zero. You can do denitrification 2 ways. Actually 3 ways, I guess. You can do water change. That's the easy one. The other one is you can have an awful lot of plants like this. When I was doing all those ammonia tests and nitrite tests and nitrate tests, I would go to this tank because it is my go-to for a balanced system, and I would use this water as my test to make sure that the test kits are working fine, and it was always a nice zero out of it. It never really ever shows much of anything. I think at the most I've ever had in this early on was about 5, maybe 10 parts per million nitrate, and nothing else is detectable. And at this point in time, there's pretty much zero all the way around. But, like I said, I do a water change on this tank once or twice a month. The only reason why I do it is because it is hooked up. I mean, this is the top row of my new rack. Well, I'm calling the new rack, even though I think it's 3 racks ago since I built this one. It's simple. I just turn down those elbows on the 5 tanks, and in less than 5 minutes I've done 5 water changes. And so I don't consider it onerous to do that, and I don't see any reason to avoid it. I mean, I like my fish to be healthy, happy, and active, and under the best possible circumstances. So they grow really nicely, and they do this instead of being lethargic. And is very little for me to actually have to do this. So that's why I do it, and I've been doing this a long time. Now, like I said earlier, I'm probably going to get requests from at least 1 or 2 people to do this setup here or another one with 0 water changes. And I probably will try and resist doing that because I know I can do it. I mean, I've done it before, but there's just no real reason to do it. My preference is to make the maintenance as simple to do as possible. I mean, if one out of those 5 minutes was to do the water change on this tank, I don't consider that something that I need to eliminate. And that's pretty much how I feel about that sort of thing. Now, you can do 0 nitrate, like I said, water change this way here. And of course, the other one's like a nice deep substrate. And at the bottom of that substrate, there's going to be a layer of anoxic metabolism happening, and that does your denitrification. Now, I've never seen one of them, though, that also didn't have a fair amount of plants in them. And of course, those plants at some point in time are going to need to be pruned. And again, not quite at the level of 0. Now, I do know of some systems, I've never worked on them, but I know they exist, where they use, instead of a biological system like this, they use chemical filtration, usually in large public areas. And what they do is they use carbon, ion exchange resins, RO, UV sterilizers, and all that sort of stuff to pretty much make the water, well, dead. Anything that the fish excrete or leftover food, all that sort of stuff is removed. And again, I've never worked on them. I don't know how much in the way of actual water changes they do or any of that sort of stuff. I know the reasons they do it is so they don't actually have to get in the tank itself. Usually they're fairly large, and they don't want to have to scrub the glass very often, or they have large fake coral or ornaments and that sort of stuff. And again, it is just trying to keep the maintenance to an absolute minimum. But again, I've never worked on them, so I don't know if they can actually achieve 0 of that. If anyone knows anything about that, definitely leave a comment below, because I'd be kind of curious. My preference, as you know, because you've been watching my channel long enough, is this. I prefer a nice living system with, it's dynamic, everything's happy and healthy. And of the few places I've been where I've seen those other style, the fish don't look exactly healthy to me. Maybe I just stare at fish too long, who knows. But anyway, that is my opinion on this. I just thought I'd share it with you guys, let you know what I thought. I like low maintenance because I am, well, not completely lazy like I like to say all the time, but I don't want to spend my entire time doing nothing but maintenance, because I like to do builds and try stuff out, and I also really do like having my fish nice and active and healthy. And there you go. That's it. Leave comments below as far as future videos and what you think of this one, and what you guys do to keep your maintenance down to a minimum, that sort of stuff. I'd be most interested in knowing all that. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.